Yes, that started to answer some of my question, but how, when you're into that negative thought, how do you get off it?
Good. It isn't easy, is it? You're very good at it. Sometimes you get so much energy going in that direction that no one, no matter how positive they are, can even drag you off of it. Instead, you drag them down with you. It is what we call momentum. When you are utilizing the non-physical energy and you have allowed it to remain for a period of time, it becomes very powerful. What usually saves you is that sooner or later you go to sleep. And that blocks the cycle, and when you awaken you feel better until you remember how bad you felt the night before, and then you start it all over again. Your question is the perfect one. What do I do about it? What happens? Let us begin here. Are you able to accept, indeed you are, that there is an inner part of you that exists? We call it your inner being. We think it is very descriptive of it. And so as you understand that your inner being exists, someone said, Abraham, what star planet are you from? And we said, we're not from a star planet. And they said, well, you must not be important then. And then they went on to say, in fact, we're not even sure you exist. If you don't have some star planet to hang your hat on, then you may not exist at all. And we said, we feel like we exist. You may perceive us as not important if we are not from a place, but place denotes physical. And as we are currently focused from non-physical, there is no place that you can attach us to. We exist in state of being, feeling, being. And that is why we refer to your inner being as inner being or inner feeling, you see. Now what happens with most of you is that you believe so much in action. You are giving credit to action. You think action is what is making the difference in your life. If you're not out there doing, then you don't expect anything wonderful to happen. And what we are wanting you to understand is it is not the doing that is making the difference. It is the way you think and feel that is attracting into your experience. But so here you are as a physical being, having an experience where you're having some sort of physical interchange or doing, and something happens and you feel rotten. The reason that most of you have such a difficult time getting off of that is because you're trying to fix it out here where it is broken. In other words, you're trying to give so much more attention to what is wrong because you believe that in giving attention to what is wrong, you will be able to make it right. But the law does not allow that. You cannot have a miserable journey on the way to a happy ending. It defies law. In order for you to change the law of attraction and begin getting more what you are wanting, which is to feel good, you must start at the inside, where most are creating from the outside in or backwards. We are encouraging that you come from the inside out. Have you ever seen a gymnast on a balance beam? If he gets out of balance, he does not try to somersault himself back into balance, for he would end up on the floor, break his neck, or whatever. Instead, he stops, draws back, regains his balance, and then proceeds. And that is really what pivoting is. It is recognizing that what you're doing, by the way you feel, it's very clear, is not in harmony with what you want. And so you stop, and if you will stop in the moment of the feeling, that is the time when you can most accurately access or assess what it is you do want. You never know more clearly what you do want than when you're living what you don't want. Isn't that true? Isn't that when you know you want health when you're sick? Isn't that when you most know you want more money when there isn't enough? And so as you're in this position of lack of what you do want, that is the time for you to say, wait a minute. My inner being is giving me negative emotion. That means this is important. Thank you for the signal, inner being, you might say. And it also means that I'm focused in opposite direction of what I really want. So what is it that I want? And the majority of the time, it will come back to three issues, usually the issue of freedom, sometimes the issue of growth, sometimes the issue of joy. But it is usually freedom that you feel is being. And so if you will stop and come inside, now this is the process. Stop and say, I want to feel free. I want to feel free. You're not out there trying to fix it. You're just acknowledging that you want to feel free. You will begin to receive stimulation of thought that helps you remember that under any and all conditions you absolutely are free, that you've never been anything other than free. And you will begin to feel better in the moment. We're watching our friend Esther. She came home from a trip, and she was feeling very much overwhelmed. Too much to do, she thought. Mailbox was overflowing. The voice mailbox was overflowing. The suitcases and bags were all around. And as she sat in the muddle, she said, Abraham, what should I do? And we said, there you are, acting like a physical being, always trying to figure out what to do. how do you want to feel? She said, I want to feel free and happy. And I don't feel free and happy when I have too much to do. We said, there you are, acting like a physical being, telling us what you don't want when we've asked you what you do want. She laughed and said, I want to feel free and happy. We said, ponder that for a moment. And so she closed her eyes and envisioned sitting on the front porch, sipping some tea, talking to her mate, watching the squirrels, and right away she felt free and happy. She said, now what? We said, now what do you want to have? She said, I want to have a clean and efficient, organized home and office. And we said, ponder that, friend. Do not jump right into action. Wait until you are inspired from your base of feeling good. You will reach out to the inspiration that will lead you to that which you seek. And so within a couple of days, the thoughts began to come. I can move this over here, I can move this over here, I can delegate this, I can eliminate this. Her mate noticed that she was not acting out of drudgery, as she sometimes had done, but she was bounding from place to place, inspired by these ideas that were coming, you see. Rather than trying to fix it from negative perspective, which never works, because law of attraction just attracts more negative, she was now being inspired because she had achieved her place of balance before. You're getting it? And so the way you get away from a negative feeling is by acknowledging that it is a good thing that you have it. Don't beat up on yourself, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this way. Instead, acknowledge how valuable it is that you have been alerted to the fact that there is something that is out of harmony. And then you consciously give thought to what it is you think you would like to feel, which will inspire your ideas of what you're wanting to have, which will then lead you to action. And we encourage you never to take action without that inspiration, because that action will be futile. It is action that is usually contradictory to what you're really wanting, you see. Some say, Abraham, you teach laziness. You teach us to lay around and wait to be inspired. What if I'm never inspired? You say, you cannot avoid being inspired when you are in that place of positive emotion. When you get in that place of positive, all good things come to you. Just as you remain in that place of negative, all bad things come to you. Do you know that without exception, the deterioration of your physical apparatus is because you have allowed negative emotion? Oh, we could give you long lists of reasons not to feel negative, but you have asked the best question, how do I keep from feeling it? And our answer is you don't keep from feeling it because it is part of your guidance system. The negative part is important as the positive part, but what your goal is, once feeling it, to get feeling good as fast as you can. And if your medication helps, that is wonderful. Soon you will find you will not need it at all.